Next up, we have C29 Metals with the ticker code C29. So C29 is a uranium explorer, of course, and development company with its flagship project in the mining-friendly jurisdiction of Kazakhstan, which is, of course, the world's biggest producer of uranium. So to tell you more, here is Managing Director Shannon Green. How are you, Shannon?
Good, thanks, Jane. Sorry, just trying to pull up the presentation. Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Okay, just point you to our standard set of disclaimers and notice about our presentation material here today. I've tried to cut this down, keep it really snappy, just talk very high line. I do need to just cover this one administrative issue. The company acquired the Ulutau uranium project up here in Kazakhstan. We came out with the acquisition on March the 20th. The project had an historic resource that has been designated and classed as a foreign estimate under the ASX listing rules. It's a resource under the previous Soviet-era Russian code. And unfortunately, as a consequence of the listing rules, once we have announced that foreign estimate, we are no longer allowed to show that in any of our presentation material or any of our announcements, which is a bit of a pain in the neck, as you can appreciate. However, in our presentation, we always provide the link to that announcement, which sits on our website and also sits on the ASX platform. And when you bring that link up, it will take you straight to that foreign estimate. But unfortunately, I'm not allowed to present that foreign estimate to you. Okay, C29, top line, major pivot into uranium. I joined as a consultant in January, ran the due diligence process and the ASX listing approval process, and joined the board as the MD in March when we came out with the transaction. And we've been sprinting every day since. Gone into Kazakhstan. Why Kazakhstan? Well, it's the global number one producer of uranium, and we thought that was very attractive. We had a starting point with an initial project that looked extraordinarily interesting and attractive, and we could see a much bigger picture. Here in Kazakhstan, under the mining code, the rules of engagement are to move from an explorer to a miner, you need to be in joint venture with the only producer up here, which is Kazatomprom. It's a national but listed company. And you heard a little bit about that earlier from Guy and some of their challenges in terms of meeting their production guidances and their drops in their production guidance. And we just saw a significant opportunity up here. So we've entered into Kazakhstan. Our project has significant exploration upside, and we'll talk a little bit to that. Our game plan, top line, our strategic plan is pretty straightforward. We're still planning to get going drilling later this month, hopefully, perhaps early into next month. We're diamond drilling, so we'll be able to drill right up to Christmas, even into the winter. And that's our plan. We're just finalising our final permitting now as we speak, and I'm up here in Kazakhstan doing that and a number of other things. We're going to get some drilling in this side of Christmas, and then we'll move into much bigger programs next year. Our game plan is to rapidly grow the shallow component of our resource. We have a system that certainly outcrops in areas. And it under the Ulutau project, certainly there was a couple of holes put down to about 1,000 metres. So a significant system. About 15 kilometres to the north of us is the historic Botoburum mine, which was the largest Soviet-era operated uranium mine. That was mined to 500 metres and drilled to 1,200 metres. So we know this is a very, very significant system. We believe we're on trend with that. We've got a lot of runway in front of us, but it's very much a top-down approach where we really want to build out all of the more shallow down to the couple 100-metre area of pounds first before we start working down. But our game plan is to build a tier one asset that would be attractive to majors, which would obviously enable a much higher chance of entering into joint venture with Kazatomprom. got sort of nearly 30 years resource industry experience from mine operations through to mine development, construction from greenfield through construction into operation. Last sort of 7 years in corporate roles globally in Australia, Canada, South America, 10, 11 years in Western Central Africa, now up here in Kazakhstan. So certainly a global footprint. David Lees is our non-exec chair, James Myers, non-exec director, and Elsa Osborne rounds that out as our CFO and company sec. Again, the team has substantial global experience across all factors of the resource space and pretty deep networks into the global capital markets. So a very solid small team ready to grow as our project grows. Okay, where are we? We're in southern Kazakhstan, which is uranium central, uranium heartland. 43% odd of global uranium comes out of southern Kazakhstan. So currently 14 operating mines under the Kazatomprom umbrella. 6 of those are JV with Russia. The rest are JVs with Cameco's and others, China, et cetera, et cetera. So a significant operating footprint. And what was really attractive to us with that is obviously you have the political long-term stability that is proactive and pro-uranium development, and you have regulators that are used to permitting from early exploration all the way through to mining of uranium projects. So we saw that as a really significant factor in entering into Kazakhstan. Plus, we just saw the opportunity of what is to any foreign company, and particularly a junior such as ourselves, and a new jurisdiction, so a new opportunity. And it's pretty hard to find new opportunities in the resource sector, as most of you would appreciate. So to find a new opportunity as exciting as this, we thought was just a remarkable opportunity for our shareholders, and a big part of why we took on entering into Kazakhstan. So that's where we are, about 3 hours sort of north of Almaty. Almaty is the largest city in Kazakhstan, but it's not the designated capital. Astana in the north is the designated capital. Almaty is a city of about 3 odd million. It's an absolutely beautiful place, surrounded by snow-capped mountains, ski resorts within an hour's drive of the CBD. It's very cosmopolitan, very safe. Feel very safe here. Haven't had any issues. It's connected by a multi-lane, literally 4-lane highway, virtually all the way to our project. Our project, talk about an exploration analogue, the perfect analogue. It's flat. There's an access road straight in that's ready just to drive the rigs in on. It's not a tree in sight. There's no rivers, there's no lakes, there's no mountains, no canyons, there's no anything. It's just flat, just little scrub on the ground. That is it. So it's a perfect walk-up opportunity from a drilling perspective. And of course, we've got history to help guide where we start drilling in one small area of one tenement, and we've been growing that package. Okay, this is where you could take yourself to the link. So Ulitar, grade is king. That's the hint. If you have a look at that, you're going to see a very significant set of numbers for a start. And in terms of grade, significant. And grade eternally king, always has and always will be. And again, another major attractor for us taking on this project. We thought if the system on a broader scale, if the system was continual with that style of mineralisation and that grade, then we would certainly have a tier 1 asset. Okay. Part of our stated strategic plan was to grow our prospective footprint. We've been able to do that in what I would say is extremely quick time. We've had our first tenement, our southern tenement here, a big one. So this is Ulitau, the smaller tenement here. This is a significant southern tenement, and our northern tenement. This dark blue is the interpreted trend of the mineralisation running through And this green here is the Bottaburra mine that I talked to earlier. It's the Soviet era's largest operating mine. This southern tenement, we applied for that. The application was granted in 2 weeks. And I'm sure most of you will appreciate that that's a pretty rare thing to have a granting so quickly. I've had tenements in Australia that have taken years. So that to us, being able to work with the regulators and have such a slick system was great. Our northern tenement here has also been granted, and that's just the start. We've got a lot more to do yet, but as I said, very quickly we've been able to start to really grow our prospective footprint, so that next year our exploration is going to broaden across that whole tenement package with all different phases of exploration. So we kick off with some drilling, which is a bit of sort of more confirmatory style drilling for this year. Moving into next year, we're going to have multi-tenement programs from airborne, geophys, all of those, boots on ground, soil sampling, all of those sort of things, and we'll have rigs running on those multi-tenements. So it's pretty exciting times ahead, and I encourage you to click on the links and have a look at the underlying foreign estimate, which is just the kickoff starting point for us, and we think that system's got a lot more to show us yet. So that's C29 in a helicopter snapshot.
Wonderful, Shannon. Thank you so much for the update. And again, if you do have any questions for Shannon, the contact details are on the screen right now, but also on the website. Just quickly, in your opinion, though, so what are some of the key misconceptions surrounding mining of uranium, specifically within Kazakhstan?
Well, I think Kazakhstan's obviously the global powerhouse. Look, it's quite interesting, and there's just been a referendum up here that was run last week, or last Sunday. The referendum was held. The result was announced on Tuesday for Kazakhstan to approve, well, for social license approval, I guess. There's a referendum for construction of their first reactor. There's a long history to that here. Kazakhstan was the main Soviet-era nuclear testing site, if you like, and therefore there's a lot of history, some fear, etc. So the government felt it was pertinent to ensure that they got the people, on board. So they ran a referendum. That referendum was overwhelming. Just over 70% voted yes to the first reactor. That reactor is planned to be built just to the north of our project area, so on the shores of Lake Balkhash. So pretty exciting for our region. Massive, positive sentiment towards the uranium industry in total. If you have a reactor, you certainly need to be mining it, and they certainly understand that, and they understand that they're the largest. I think also there's, we heard earlier from Guy that Kazatomprom are having their struggles, but the government wants to see them grow their uranium business further. They want to downstream further, which they're doing in joint venture with China, but they also want to grow their output. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity here to potentially be part of that, because Kazatomprom are probably struggling to be able to meet the government's aspirations to want to grow that business further.
Wonderful. Well, Shannon, that's what we've got time for today. But again, our contact details are both on the screen now. They are on our website as well. So please feel free to reach out if you've got any other further questions. But thanks for your time.